The crisis in housing and in homelessness in Ireland is worse today than it has ever been right since the very foundation of our state. The number of people registered officially as homeless is gone well above the 10,000 mark, and that's despite the efforts to doctor these numbers that took place over the last year or more. There are nearly 400 families in Cork City alone who are living in emergency accommodation, in B&Bs and hotel rooms. There are almost 4,000 more families on the housing list, some of them for 10, 15, even up to 20 years, waiting for houses. There are thousands of more families living in HAP schemes, living with rent, supports, and in many cases in very substandard conditions. Housing is a massive problem today in Ireland. Young couples can't get married, they can't set up partnerships because they have no home in which to bring families up. This should be the most precious thing in our community, that families should exist and recreate themselves, if you like, in their own local community. But this is being denied to a whole generation of people. The Housing Rights Alliance has been formed and are contesting the local election here in the city in each of the areas. People will see this logo, the yellow house here, that will be on the ballot papers, and we're asking you, please vote for this. A vote for the Housing Rights and Reform Alliance is a vote to make housing, public housing, affordable housing, proper rent control, proper maintenance in both public and private rentals, and a proper dealing with the issue of homelessness. It's a vote to make these the priority issues of Cork City Council. We are also, reform is in our name, because why? Cork City Council is grossly wasting millions upon millions of our public monies on what are, we believe, crazy schemes. There's an event centre there which has an allocation of 30 million euros to it. Why? Why are they allocating that much of public money to an event centre when there are plenty of venues for conferences, and at the same time, while people are in such need of basic services, maintenance, doors put in, there's even people in Cork City housing, would you believe, who need hot running water, and they're denied this, and the excuse thrown out is there's a shortage of money. There are, I think, in the Greater Cork area, about 1,500 families with disabilities who are living in accommodation that is not adequate to their disability. These are very, very life-affecting, day-to-day issues which City Council does not address, yet they throw big money at terrible, what we believe, terribly wasteful projects. I mean, the junkets that they persist on one night last year, 15 members of Cork City Council went on a trip to San Francisco. There was Sinn Féin with them, there was Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and a number of the independents from City Hall. They spent €50,000 on the trip. On one night alone, they spent €9,000 on food and drink on a rooftop hotel for entertainment for them and their buddies. There is a sense of entitlement in City Hall which is second to none. When the Prince of England came on an informal visit to Cork last July, they organised a banquet, and all the would-be aristocrats of our city, including council members, leaders in business and so on, these people went and had a banquet at our public expense. They paid €267 per head for a dinner. Each dinner costing that much, paid for out of public money, whilst people are living in such need in our city. We're asking you, put a marker down here, tell these parties, tell the old politics to get off. And we're asking you to vote for the Housing Rights and Reform Alliance. There's a candidate in each constituency in the city. Let us take on these vested interests in City Hall. Let us burn the sacred cows. Let's get in there and shout out that there are problems in the city and we want to have them addressed. Go to Míle Maith Agaibh.